Box of Paint, hi! Hello! How are you? Hope it's been a good week for everyone. I hope it's been a good week for you too. We're doing well. Had the mushroom and asparagus bagel, brunch, breakfast. Burger. What else? Baguette. Oh, pie. With far too many mashed potatoes and we are borderline comatose. Oh no! I had a mashup of leftovers that made for something that my German grandpa could have cooked. That was like smoked sausage, onions, and slices of rye bread. It reminded me of his onion pie he used to make. That sounds yummy. It was delicious. Yeah, I've been like we get takeout on Fridays, and the last 2 times there were so many raw onions in the meals that I just took them out and put them in a in a container and would cook them with something else. I just don't understand why put in so many raw onions. I mean, the taste is so overpowering. That's all you taste after you bit into one. I love rye bread. Good rye bread is so delicious. The one I got, I really like it because it has a bit of caraway seeds, like seasoning in there. I had choice between 2 rye breads. One was kind of without the caraway, and one was with the caraway seeds. And I was like, give me the caraway one. It's so delicious. I really like when there's a caraway or cardamom or cinnamon and stuff. Hey, Mikey! How have you been, Mikey? We used to get a sourdough rye from a baker in the next town. Ooh. But it's dense enough that the butter didn't so. You kind of have to toast rye bread for much, much, much longer than regular bread. I've been good. I've been out of the hospital for a full... Oh, that's awesome! That's great news! Yay! I hope that streak continues. Yeah, there's a really good caraway bread that we can get from with the groceries. That's also very tasty. I wish they would have some cardamom bread. Yum 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 yum. I also wish I had a lipstick nearby. I still had my earbuds in, but I don't listen to anything right now, so I don't need to wear them at the moment. Hubby is pretty much a white bread guy, which is good, but I like to mix it. Well, you're not gonna fight for the bread, so that's good. I hope he likes like good bakery white bread, not the sliced bread thing. I'm sitting here thinking about cheese lately. I've been eating a lot of super sharp cheddar and Triscuits. Triscuits are made with something really addictive in them. I don't know what it is, but tracksuits. Did you mean to say Triscuits, but it corrected it to tracksuits? Because that's hilarious. Slightly bitter, slightly salty, and completely moreish. More-ish, in that you want more of them. Triscuits, that is so it's hilarious. Tracksuits. Do you get them in the UK? There's like a bajillion flavors now. I think they would be amazing, like the plain ones with good old Kraft peanut butter on them. Mm-mm-mm. I love the tracksuit, they're the best. That's such a funny typo. Or rather, autocorrect. There are definitely a thing here, and oh, I mean tracksuits. Yeah, I know that, but Triscuits. Oh, shell suits that. Oh, yeah. The matching I don't know how you're supposed to say it in English. Adidas, tracksuit, top and bottom. That's a look. That's definitely a look. Yeah, I was asking if Triscuits were a thing. Or do you have to wait until you visit to eat them? Hold on, I gotta do a bit of laundry. Be right back. Sorry, I am back. You can get Triscuits even at the American food stores. No. Wheat Thins and Cheez-Its are also missing. Which are all crack food. Oh yeah, Wheat Thins. When I go home I eat so much junk food. They are all foods I crave when my tummy hurts, and when I got home they are all the culprits from overeating. There's a list of things we buy every single time to bring back, and we eat them before they can be packed. Oh no! It's so funny. That's the thing, right? You cannot really bring back something that has been opened. You have to bring back like a new box. So if you open it, well, you have to eat it. Almond Roca is number 2. What is that? It doesn't matter how much we plan, like even waiting until the last day to buy stuff, and we just can't resist. Planters dry roast sunflower seeds are at the top of the list. Almond Roca is number 2. Do you guys in the US have Kraft peanut butter? Or is that a Canadian thing? It's been my hobby to do the damage. But the last few times I've taken Tonics, which the second I give them to my sister, the family has vanished. I can see why. So I have to sneak her a stash, and then I hate that stupid heart thing. I can't say the word. And then probably give the decal. Oh my gosh. Secret stash of Tonics. How many flavors are there? I know there's like milk chocolate and dark chocolate, but are there any other flavors? I'm allergic to almonds, but I really used to love them before they tried to make me feel... Yeah, that's... That's usually quite a decisive reaction to foods. I'm sure there is a toffee bar like Score or Heath that doesn't have the almonds, but it's been a while. So is that what almond roca is? It's like a toffee bar with almonds? Just have to break them up and stack them to pretend it's a roca. I'll have to Google that. I have no idea what an almond roca is. Ouch. The tonics I take my sister are the ones Otto and I love in dark chocolate, and the ones rolled in toasted coconuts. Ugh. I didn't know there were some rolled in toasted coconuts. That sounds amazing. Yeah, it does sound appealing. Almond roca is like a 2 bite-size rectangular cube of toffee, like the middle of a score, then dipped in chocolate. Oh, okay, I see. Huh. Like that crunchy, sort of glassy toffee. The one that breaks, not that stretches, right? They come individually wrapped like Rocher. Oh. I'll have to keep an eye out for those. That sounds good. That sounds really good. Rochers are pretty amazing, though. Talk about a winning formula right there. You can't close your mouth fully after eating a bunch because you have a layer of it stuck in you. Yeah. Oh, it's like oh, I don't know if you guys have these, but Crispy Crunch. It's like this sort of peanut butter kind of crunchy taffy thingy in the middle, and then there's a layer of actual hard taffy around it, and then chocolate. That stuff will stay stuck in your molars forever too. Oh, that sounds delicious, Mikey. Honeydew melons are amazing, especially if you can get a good ripe one. That's the best. we got a lesson at Tony's about some of their imitations and brought home their dark chocolate note Rocher bar. Ooh, not Rocher. They did a Kit Kat imitation to prove it could be done without naughty source chocolate and got them to change their source. Yeah, over here, if you look at a Kit Kat bar, if I remember right, it has kind of this little logo on it, like it's probably from Nestle, so take that with a grain of salt. But it's like the cocoa something something or other, and I think it's about sourcing their cacao properly, cocoa, whatever, the thing that makes chocolate. But yeah, I would much rather prefer to buy Tony's. I just wish it's not like super available everywhere. Like I can't just go to like the drugstore and find Tony's chocolate there, I wish. That would be epic. Chocolate nut Rocher. Ferrero Rocher in bar form, that's gotta be quite interesting. Oh, the other cool thing is that they have flavors in the UK that you can only buy at charity shop. Oh, really? So even the stores that carry them won't have access to these flavors. I think that's a really interesting way to get people to spend a few. Definitely. Like if in a situation where one of my favorite flavors of chocolate bars was only available at a charity shop, I would absolutely go there to get them. Although he really, Tony, because I'm pretty sure that's like I'm gonna put all the decision-making power on Tony's hands, on Tony's head, whatever. But I wish Tony made more chocolates that didn't have any dairy in them. Like most of their dark chocolate, whatever, still have dairy in them, and that's just a bit of a bummer. Like okay, fine, but you have milk chocolate for that. I think, like, from the ones that I know are available to me, there's only the dark 70% that I think is dairy free, and also the almond sea salt something dark chocolate. But I'm not a big fan of salt in my chocolate. It's just not my favorite, so I struggle to leave a charity shop without a teacup. Aw. Any chocolate is a bonus. Oh, seriously. Let's go. Let's make it a weekly event at least. I think you don't like mint. Oh yeah, but eating one that is dark with pieces of candy cane and another one that is speckless. I think the mint one is dairy free. I think you're right about that one. I've never seen this speckless one. Sounds like a very Dutch one, to be honest. But yeah, if I liked mint and chocolate, I could eat that one. But yeah, it's just not exactly my my thing. Like, I don't mind if it's like something that, you know, has dairy in it, like toffee or any kind of caramel or something. That, I mean, that's usually made from dairy and sugar. So okay, I get it. But when there's something that's like, oh, dark chocolate nougat, well, you don't. There's nothing that justifies putting dairy extra in it, you know. I thought dark chocolate was like dairy free by definition, but I guess not. Damn it. Hey, Paulo! We're talking about chocolate. It's super dark and the slightly bitter of the cookie. Oh, that sounds great. Also, I love speculoos because they're like spicy. Not hot, spicy, just full of spices, spicy. Hey, Susan! Hello! Now I'm thinking about Samoa's, the Girl Scout cookies. That's caramel, coconut, and chocolate. Yeah, that's a good mix. That is exactly what the coconut... Oh, dude, stop! That hurts! I don't think I'll have quite enough thread to finish this row, which is very annoying. Well, I'm gonna try anyway. Oops. Oh yeah. Took a bit of a few gymnastics, but made it. I'm still annoyed that my hubby kept all these goodies to himself for years without cluing me in, but I've made up for last time. Was he just not aware that you would be like super interested in it? I was holding my breath through that last pass of the needle. I made it. And a high emotions session of sewing. I heard that some people call such a thing like they call it bobbin chicken. I guess that's more with like a sewing machine, but like this idea of trying to hoping you have enough thread left to finish a thing without having to, you know, set up some new thread. And I think that's hilarious. You were talking about charity shops, and I was thinking recently about how easier it's gotta be to find a fitting thimble in the UK than it is anywhere else. And perhaps some good vintage needles made in England. He's done it a couple of times and answered me correctly, but without enough info. Like, I asked if there were wafer bars, like the crispy ones that leave lots of crumbs, and he said yep, and they are wafer, but nothing like those. Yeah. I would just, like, totally destroy the cookie aisle. I'd just try everything. Oh yeah? Huh? You're not gonna tell me what the good stuff is? I'm gonna figure it out myself. But yeah, so I'm using a leather thimble at the moment, and it works fine, but it's gonna wear out probably quickly. And I have tiny fingers, and it's gonna be a hassle to try to find a thimble that fits. I mean, a metal thimble. Nowadays, you can just find them in like small, medium, large sizes, and it's not exactly helpful. Let me I kind of have to try them to know, so I'm gonna have to check the thrift stores around here and whatnot, but I doubt I'll find as many as I would probably in the UK. It's kind of the same for vintage paints. Like, you have a much higher likelihood of finding vintage paints in a thrift store in the UK than you do here. Here you might find some like vintage Crayola paints, sure, but nothing cool. Whereas there's a lot of Reeves and Winsor & Newton in the UK that you can probably find in thrift shops. My favorite is when I asked what the jam-filled tarts were filled with, meaning what flavor, and you responded, they are essentially tarts filled with jam, and carried on shopping. What? Just not try them? Just eh. Hey, Steve! Hello! Well, it's been a minute. Yeah, it's been a minute. How have you been? So much gardening to do. Made white chocolate covered. Oh, that sounds amazing. That sounds tasty. How's your beehives? Or rather, how are your beehives? Something. I would drop kick on this spot. Oh, there's a new thing at the grocery store that is sort of relevant to your tarts filled with jam. They call it a croissant, which is a mix of a croissant and a muffin. And it's basically croissant dough shaped kind of circularly in a muffin cup. And they cook it, and at the end they fill it with something in the middle. And you can get some filled with like apple preparation or like raspberry preparation. There's some with custard, but there's some with Nutella in there, and ooh, that's something else. This is a very dangerous stream when it comes to eating. We're always talking about either paints, food, or painting food, or something like that. Turns out the store-bought jam tarts. The store-bought jam tarts is a roulette game. And I know the apricot ones, but strawberry, raspberry, rhubarb, and blackcurrant all look the same. And two of them I can see, but so they're not labeled? Strawberry, raspberry, rhubarb, and blackcurrant. Which ones do you like and which one don't you like? Can't like you can't like them. It's a bit like a big bag of jelly beans, and then you stumble upon the licorice one. Honey is harvested, and I have A big container to ship honey. Oh, that's great. Let's hope I can. Let me know because do you, if you have my address, you have my email, right? But yeah, I don't have a PO box anymore, so I hope you stay well and remain positive as well, and that you have a nice fall season. Why are they making your life so difficult? Put the name of the fruit jam. Yeah, I know. Like over here, they have like kind of ready-made stickers for that. Like they have a selection of like similarly designed stickers, but like one will say lemon and it will be a photo of lemons, and they will have one that has a photo of a strawberry and it will say strawberries, so they can just like label the stuff accordingly. Can ship to PO box. Yeah, that's perfect, Steve. I will give you my address via email. That's awesome. I'm excited. I hope this works out. Rhubarb is a flavor that I would love to love, but it just tastes like sprayed perfume. Ugh. Ugh. I've never really looked in, like, I don't think I've eaten enough rhubarb stuff to remember what it tastes like. Over here, it's often strawberries and rhubarb together. Yeah, I would rather have like just strawberry. If I can choose like between rhubarb, strawberry, and just strawberry, I'll take just strawberry. That's fine. I love the plant though. The plant looks really cool. It's like this big leafy like celery stalks that are pink and green. One that I absolutely struggle with is I think they're called ground cherries in English. Like the taste, I tried them once, and the taste I couldn't do it, and the texture couldn't do it either. It's like a mixture of the one of the worst texture I can stand, a bit like a tomato, and the taste was just like it was beyond words, not for me. Just say that. They look so cool though. That's always a bummer. Like they look really interesting and fun with the little like lantern around them and whatnot, but oh my gosh, the taste. Hey, have a great week, Mikey. Thank you so much for stopping by. It is such a beautiful color, rhubarb, isn't it? And then you cook it down and it becomes this sort of beige brown. Like an evil tomato. Well, tomatoes are already evil. I can't, I mean, I love blended cooked tomatoes. But any kind of chunky or raw tomato, I just can't. Sometimes I have a hard time just going through the tomato aisle at the grocery store if it smells like particularly strong ripe tomatoes. It can be a bit of a struggle. Even cooking them is difficult. Farmers grow rhubarb here. An additive to fruit pie filling to give tartness. Oh. Large plant group. Yeah, the plant is really pretty. My mom had a couple of rhubarb plants ages ago, and I always thought that the plant looks really nice. And then when you see the stalks that they go from like this beautiful green color to the pink color. That's so pretty. It's really beautiful plant. I would probably grow some just to look at them. Or maybe the times I've eaten rhubarb, the balance was a bit off. Like perhaps they put too much rhubarb and not enough anything else, and it became super bitter or tart. I don't remember. But then again, I kind of struggle with some things too, like strawberries. Like they're very rarely sweet, or if they are, I can't really taste it. It's just so I like them anyway, but it's always funny when I see people go like, "Oh, the strawberries are super sweet," and I get them and I eat them, and I'm like, "Well, they taste like strawberries. They're good, but you know." I think I've only had rhubarb once because it's very hard to come by over here. I have to go to one of those fancy grocery stores. Oh, really? Huh. They make a lot of things with them here. And one is sour and lovely, and the next one tastes like a very acidic tomato. The ground cherries, you mean? So yeah, the one I've tasted, I don't want to say it because it's gross, but it reminded me of a taste that can never be a good thing. Like it was not a case of like, oh, this is too sour for me, or this is too tart for me, whatever. It was a bit like saying, oh, this tastes like old socks, you know. Just not appealing in any scenario where everything is organic and costs one kidney. It's a good thing we have two, right? I tried to grow them over here, but people didn't water it and it just died. Aww. That's really, really sad. Artichokes have reached about 45 cm just in time for... Wait, did you lose them to the weather drop, or were you able to eat them anyway? Yes, like sweet potato vines. Rhubarb for life. Yeah, the leaves are amazing. I don't know if you can do anything with them, but it's a really fun plant. And it's so pretty. It's a bit like growing chards. Is that the word? Cards, chards. I don't know what you're supposed to call them. But there's a colorful variety where the stalks are like bright pink, purple, white, yellow, and it's just so it's kind of just cheerful. And then when you know you can eat it too, so that's like extra fun. Oh, the leaves are poisonous. Whoops. Okay, never mind. That's a good defense mechanism. Hey, Salome, hi. Like Swiss cards. Yeah, chards. Oh, oxalic acid. They should be about 2 meters tall. I know we're close to our harvest. Oh no! Oh no! Poor artichokes. Aw. Yeah, I don't know if that's what Swiss chards are. I think that's what it is, but it's kind of like a sort of thin stalk with a big leaf that's reminiscent of stuff like spinach. I just really like the colorful varieties you can get. I think it's fun. It's kind of an unassuming veggie, but the colors makes it extra fun. I am so pumped to pick up my 2 yuzus this season and do a dessert. Oh no! Okay, you want to eat it alone, right? So you want to keep your yuzu for yourself. We'll be with you in spirit, though, if you want company. Definitely gonna be with you in spirit as you eat those beautiful yuzu. It was weird you managed to grow one. I thought chili was a thing that like always grew a bajillion. There's one thing I really like is when you get like city installed planters that instead of having just decorative plants in there, they also put in some like edible plants in there. Like they will plant a like some pepper plants or like I don't know, kale or herbs or something, or even like oh, I don't know what's it called, but you know, some edible flowers would be pretty cool too, rather than just decorative stuff. Your plant baby is your moment of joy. I am so proud of them. My white does decorative stuff and I hate that. What do you mean? Oh, the plants. Okay, yeah, the plants. I mean, it's pretty, but I feel like, you know, edible plants are also very pretty. So why not make something both like pretty and useful? Or to have some plants, if they're not edible, at least they're good pollinators. Otto! Hi! How are your hands and arms at this point? We've had years where we were giving chilies away, picking them, and still had too many. Not this year. Yeah, I think last year you were talking about that. And about making like preserves of some kind. I love the flowers of passion fruit, okra, and sage. Well, passion fruit, that's a really fun fruit to work with if you can grow it. Like it would never grow here, but I mean, maybe over there you can grow it. I don't like the look and the texture, but the taste is amazing. My succulents are decorative, but they present many challenges, so it's a never-ending game for me. My hands are super sore from spoon carving this, so I might be slower, quieter today. My hands are still so... Aww. Though if you take a habit of carving spoons, you're gonna get like the strongest hands. You'll be able to open all the jars. Oh yeah, nasturtium, that's the one that you can eat. That's pretty cool. I could feed a small army of the nasturtium that's taken. But these are delicious. They're like a bit peppery in flavor. I have 3 passion fruits on my balcony and they are taking over the balcony. They are a pest? What? No, I am not going to make it a habit. My hands would die. No, you would get like super strong. You would get like indestructible hands. Wait, what's happening? What's happening? The cat tin is sortable. It is! Otto sent it to me. Otto always finds the best tins. It sounds super fancy too. Like it says Chatrois Chocolatier Koubé. And it's written in Japanese on the back. But yeah, I mean, the tin is so cool. It's one thing to have a cat design on it, but to have a whole tin shaped like a cat, that's that's pretty cool. Otto's mom is a tin finder. She has a really good eye for them. She's like impressive. It's not technically cold here, but we've been bundled up. I did a test on the broiler. Oh, I like the cold. It's never really a struggle. The real struggle is to not overdo it. I often feel like, oh, it's getting cold, so I gotta wear my hat and gloves and scarf and whatnot, and then I go outside and it's not that cold and I'm like overheating anyway. I'm basically a tin foster mom. Having the cold. Yeah! Cold is great. Cold is great. All the hot drinks, yeah. All the pants. All the sweaters. Like, soon, during the winter, like, you can wear, like, the most absurd arrangement of clothes to go out because no one will know you'll have a coat on. That's pretty cool. It's also very handy when you're someone who regularly has paint, you know, around or cooks food and you don't notice that you splashed yourself with something or whatnot. I got some bits to decoupage my desk drawers, which I keep my watercolor tubes in. Oh, that sounds really cool. That's gonna be pretty. Not cold at all over here at 26 Celsius. Ooh, you're toasty warm. That's a good number though. Cold weather means soup and hot chocolate without the weird looks. That implies that you get them anyway, even when it's hot, and just shrug off the weird looks. We moved into a 30s bungalow which has an elevated floor. It is freezing. Oh. Okay, so I went to a spoon carving class today. There was a lady there also taking the class. I did get to put on my new super soft jumper. That's a good. That's excellent, Salome. Paolo eats soup all year long, even when it's super hot? Or is it gazpacho? And yes, my daughter Samui. There was this lady there also taking the class, and she was talking about taking up watercolor. Because someone had told her that if you make a mistake with watercolor, it's so easy. You can just wash it out. I was dying. I kept my mouth shut. Oh, I don't think I would have been able to. Oh, I would have had to ask questions. Excuse me, lady, what? I am thinking of getting company in a farm. A Maine Coon cat. It is getting lonely out here. Aw. Well, fully in favor of getting a pet. Personally, a cat is always my go-to choice, but if you like dogs, the dogs I feel can be good company too. And it's a bit less of a gamble. Like you can end up with a cat that is very interactive and like you can really interact with. But you can also have a cat that's a bit more aloof. And I feel like dogs, if you get a dog, it's kind of always some like a friend you can interact with because they really like this back and forth. I feel like, says the person who's never had a dog in her life, but that's my general feeling towards that. A Maine Coon is a excellent choice for a cat though. I think they're like the OG farm cat, kind of. And they can, I don't know what kind of weather you get, but they can take to the cold much better than possibly other cats. Lady, that person is not your friend if that's what they told you. Yeah, definitely. Or they have a really weird experience with watercolor that kind of begs for more questions. Like, what kind of color are you like painting with Crayola on Yupo paper? Are you maybe they just watched Marty Owings video where he put like watercolor sheets through the washer. I've got a few friends with Maine Coons and they are full of personality and big enough to feel substantial. Yeah, they're good farm cats from what I've gathered. I've been ignored by dogs as much as cats. I mean, definitely, but I feel like in the dog mindset of having some sort of structure and hierarchy, that can bring them to be more like dependent on you in a way. Whereas cats, it's more of a gamble. Like you don't really know what kind of cat you're gonna get until you get it. The cat sitter's hubby came with her one night, and we have video of him dancing around the living room with Bear, the little traitor. A ragdoll might be a good choice too. They are very friendly and will follow you around, although mine did not get that memo. And even on a leash, he has managed to catch mice and birds. Yeah, that's their instinct, right? They might not be good at it, but they're still gonna have that instinct to catch stuff. Also, on a farm, a cat is extra useful because it can help take care of the rodents. Thanks, close to us too. You too, Steve. You too. And I mean, feel free to message or write to us about, anything. It's perfectly good. I feel like the key thing with any animal is to not pressure them into anything. Like I've seen people in my family, like they would get a cat and they wouldn't let the cat like adjust on their own. So, like abstract notions of, well, the cat spent the whole day under the bed, I gotta get him out of there. It's like, no, just wait until the cat comes out on their own. And don't try to force pet the cat, just wait until the cat comes to you for pets, that kind of stuff. Like when you hear that some cats are returned to shelters because of weird reasons, I'm always like, what were you? You gotta let the cat be, and it will adapt eventually. But just let the cat be. You didn't buy a new like toy. You bought a living creature. One of Hemi's is not a real farm cat and he's loving life. It's so funny how Emmy's kids ended up in all sorts of places. Like one of Mr. E's sister has a cat that is possibly part Maine Coon, and he's the sweetest cat with his humans. He's really nice. He's really kind and cuddly, but you have to let him out. It's like he becomes like a banshee or whatnot. Like they didn't plan on letting him out, but they didn't have a choice. Because he would just like be ultimate chaos at night if he couldn't go out. They live on a, like in a place where it's more well suited to having cats outside, like not too many roads near and that stuff, but still, and you kind of wouldn't be able to guess just looking at the cat. But it's like by day, sweet cuddly cat, by night, like hunter of all things, and it's such a big contrast, and you really couldn't tell just from looking at it. I don't know what it is about Bear, but everyone's instinct is to picking up baby style with his feet up. I hope he takes it well. No one does that to Hemi. Would they lose a hand if they did that to Hemi? To Emmy? Have you had any idea about your next sewing project? Hey, Cyan! Hi! Still not chatting much since I am knitting along. I have to make still 5 pairs of... Oh! Man, that's good. It feels like you're gonna have time, but wow. And yeah, I think I'm gonna be trying my hand at sewing blocks for a quilt. Eventually. What I like of sewing blocks for a quilt is that you can work on like smaller pieces of something that can be sort of any size you want in the end. But yeah, you're like basically working on assembling a bunch of pieces, and you don't really connect them together until the very end. So let's say I do it kind of in a scrappy fashion and use whatever fabrics I feel I want to use. And I don't have quite enough for, let's say, the number of blocks that the pattern calls for in those specific colors. Well, it's not really an issue. If it's kind of scrappy, I can wait until I, get a fabric that matches and continue doing blocks. And in the end, I'll be deciding how I set them out, how it looks together, and I think you can kind of make anything work if you decide to work on a quilt in a patchy manner. Or a scrappy manner, rather. A quilt is always patchy. So I'll just finish this seam here, and I'll get my binder of printed patterns, and I'll show you guys the one that I think I'm gonna do. I don't think it's meant to be done in English paper piecing style, but I feel like I can easily adapt it to it. I feel like you can basically do anything with English paper style, paper piecing style. if you have like paper the patience to work it out. He would not allow it if you tried, but she's more and more cuddly over time. Tonight she stood on hubby's tummy with her head on his shoulder and passed out. Oh, that's so cute. Except curves. Well, I have a pattern for a curvy EPP thing. And it's a different seam. Instead of folding it like that and doing the seam this way, you kind of work the seam flat. But yeah, I haven't tried tackling that. It's in my binder. I'll be able to show it too. Hold on. Just need to finish this side. So, well, that's the one that, hold on, let me... Okay. So this is one that is EPP, so English paper piecing. It's a lot of curves like this. Get this back in there. Come on. Howie, put yourself in. And yeah, so you basically work it flat like this. And just sew it, but on the flat. I haven't tried it yet, but it kind of feels like it would work, right? And I mean, this person made a few quilts, like a few demo quilts from this pattern, and when you baste it, you just basically cut into the fabric to allow for a nice circle. Unless it's a tiny one. If it's a smaller curve, you don't really need to do that. But yeah. So that's one, and the one I'm gonna try to do, I think it's near the end. My binder. This one, a little. Where is it? Where is it? No, it's this one. That is a small template over here, but I'm used to a 3-ring binder, and in the UK, they seem to love to. Yeah, I've noticed that with when Otto was showing stuff from her binders, and it's like two rings here, and it was like, wow, that's weird. Because me too, I am used to 3-ring binders. This is kind of what I've seen forever. But yeah, hold on, can't see if my stream is keeping up with. Okay, yeah. So yeah, that's the one I'm gonna try to do next with like there's a template for the pieces that come with did I print it? Oh, it's here. And this template is for regular I say regular, but I don't really know what that is, but it's not necessarily intended for paper piecing, but if I cut just the shape without the seam allowance, I can very easily convert them into shapes for EPP. I can also, I'll go grab the kind of preliminary selection of fabrics that I've kind of put together. I'll sais pas si tu veux faire l'histoire. Mais c'est Tom. Salut Tom. It blew my mind more than figuring out the money. Yeah, the money. I can't really. Yeah, your autocorrect is on fire tonight. Tracksuits with cheese. So yeah, earlier we were talking about Triscuits, which are a brand of crackers in North America, and Boxa Paint's autocorrect changed it to tracksuits. It was really funny. So I put these together in sort of a preliminary selection. I feel like I'm going to use possibly the green ones as the sort of neutral color, or the background color in a way, because I have, you know, a substantial amount of it, and I figured that it's not too hard to find a similar color if I need to. And then I have these for the bits. So yeah, so everything that's kind of, you know, white would be one of like a green piece, and everything else that's sort of more colorful and patterny, yeah, okay, that would be like an assortment of these. And I might have a couple of more like of plain fabrics that would fit in with these. And yeah, I feel like, let's say I go through all of this in a way that I cannot do another block, I don't feel like it would be too difficult to eventually get colors that fit with these and to make more blocks, and then when you lay them out for the final products, you kind of, you know, mix it up. Couple turquoise and opera pink for the not a lot of pink in this one, but yeah, the like tealy turquoise and then the green, and someone outside is really heartbroken over life. So that's my plan. I'm going with this one in particular because I feel like it's still simple enough to like put together and possibly to assemble at the end. So I feel like it's a nice step up from what I was doing that was utterly simple. I feel like this is simple enough rather than utterly simple. So a bit a small level up, but still something perhaps easier to practice than like doing curvy EPP right away. I know that some people are like able to really have a strong color palette when they do crafting. Like I'm thinking of Kristen at Woolen Vine. Like she does a lot of like muted colors, and she said something once that really cracked me up. She had a I think she had a quilt top that she had done. And there was an area of it that had some like colors that were like a bit like yellow ochre and a muted red and a muted green and like a muted orange, like really like desaturated colors. And she was mentioning these colors. She was like, I don't really like these colorful fabrics. It kind of feels like McDonald's. And I was like, oh my gosh. If those desaturated colors feel like McDonald's to you, ooh, okay. I'm not gonna give you. I don't expect to see any kind of bright pink project from you, so that's my expectation. A quick Halloween true tale to haunt your spooky season. My doorbell rang and it was the neighbor. My husband invited them for a chat. I died. That's a good horror story. Girl, did you get the magnets? They're called Sewtites. Sewtites. And they have a bunch of different shapes. So you basically have the back. And then the magnet is attached to a diamond for this one. And it's really useful for like piecing together stuff in the middle, because how could I even clip this? Like I could clip this here, but then I don't have any kind of clip that I can, you know, I could clip like what I'm gonna sew, but I would have to remove the clip and I would also probably get the thread tangled up in it all the time. Yeah, sew tights. And they have all sorts of shapes, and they have flat ones, like rectangular ones, that I've seen used for like the curvy EPP, because you wanna, people would tape their pieces together, but you can also like hold them together with the flat magnets, because they're like bars. So you basically like put one here and have the other piece there, and it's gonna keep them together. It is really nifty. Is it something that you would find useful, Otto? Hey, Ellen! Oh my gosh, hi! Hello! How was your trip? I hope you're okay too. I hope you're okay too. Well, I'm sorry. I need water. I'm trying to figure that out. I'll be right back. Amazing. I am exhausted and exhilarated. That's a good combo after a trip. I feel like it means you did a good job on a trip, right? The photos you posted were really pretty. I also came home to start a new job and ended up adopting my uncle's cat. Oh, a kitty! And a new job, whoa. So, do you... Sorry, I pushed the camera with my head. Sorry about that. So, did you stop working at the sort of paper place? Yep, 40 hours a week, benefits, pension, custodial for the local school board, still maintaining the art room for blows for now. It's good hobby money. Hey, well, congrats on landing the new job. I mean, that sounds like a good one. It's good hobby money, and you also get to spend a bit of time like immersed in art supplies. Yeah, this is the first time I will be out of poverty in a very long time. Bouncing between side hustles and blows. Yeah. Yeah, and to have like this security element to it, like you know exactly how many hours in a week you work and what kind of benefits you get from it, and well, I'm glad you found something. That sounds really good. Oh, look at you hand quilting. Thank you. That's this is like my second project. Well, it was initially my first, but then I had to kind of put it on pause and start another one, and I think I'm gonna always have like two on at the same time as I'm figuring things out. But this one is just like a bunch of hexagons, and I have another like chunk of it like pieced together already, and I'm just gonna attach all of this chunk together and then attach the two chunks together, and I think it's gonna be like a small lap blanket or a cat blanket or something. It's just to, you know, get the practice in, because it's not like I don't really know what I'm doing, really figuring it out as I go.
Ja.
And yeah, and it's by hand because I don't own a machine, and I'm fine. I mean, I enjoy sewing by hand. It's gonna be interesting to try to quilt it by hand in the end. I really don't know how to go about it, in the sense that I don't want to take away from the fabrics, because the patterns I feel are lovely. But if I don't want to cover up the seams, like the stitches either, because they're they're neon orange thread seams, and they are UV reactive, and that's hilarious in my opinion. So I don't know what I'll do in terms of like quilting the whole thing together. And then I'll have to figure out the binding too. My mom's a quilter, so I spend a lot of, oh man, fabric stores. I kind of always loved fabric stores. When I was younger, I would go to them for either like non-fabric related items, because they would also have yarn and stuff like that. But also when I did some LARPing, I would do my own costumes. So I would go to the fabric store to get like inexpensive fabric to try and put together costumes. So I remember like spending time in there, like looking at either the patterns for Halloween costumes of like medieval stuff, or just looking at all the fabrics, sometimes being like stunned at how pricey some of them could be. And I don't know, it was always such a cool and fun and chill place. I think it's closed now, but yeah, it was in a mall, and we all know how malls are doing, so. Yeah, if I went into a clothing store now, I would just spend the whole afternoon there, I think. Can you imagine me and you? Oh, it would be like, we would spend the whole afternoon there. Honestly, we would have to take breaks to go to the bathroom and drink water. The UK has some crazy tapestry embroidery that looks like it'd be a lot of fun to try to recreate. Ooh. You give the passport and access to the watercolor supplies in the bag. My mom even took a tablecloth that my great-grandmother embroidered with floral design and used it as the main center panel. Ooh. Oh, that sounds beautiful. I have a quilt that my grandma and relatives made. And it's all hand sewn as well. I need to wash it, because it's been like stored for a long time, and my mom was always like, don't watch it, it's gonna rip apart, blah blah blah. And I'm like, well, what's the point of owning it then? I'm gonna wash it gently, and if any kind of damage happens to it, well, I'll just repair it, and that's gonna add to the charm of the quilt, I feel like. I like fabric stores for how quiet they can be. Yeah, seriously, no echo in there. And they're usually like kind of, well, they're not all big. I've been to one that were quite claustrophobic, to be honest. Like a teeny tiny store in Montreal that was packed like floor to ceiling with rolls of fabrics. And it was such an interesting shop in a way, because like the couple who started the shop, they were very old, and their son was working the shop now but didn't want to keep it. So I think it still exists. I think maybe someone else took it up. I hope so. But it was such a unique shop with a lot of charm, you know. You have some notions in the back that you feel are there on the wall since like 30 years ago and stuff like that. But yeah, it was just fascinating. I'll be happy to raise and learn to shear the sheep if y'all can figure out how to do the Here fabric stores are somehow super bland and gray. They think those kind of fabrics, ugh, that's sad. No, the one I used to go to, like, it would it would be like the hottest mess of fabrics you could possibly find. Like, you had things for babies, like clothing, and you would have flannel in a way, and you would have fleece, and then you would have all the quilting cottons, and then you would have all the fancy, like, what's it called? Like the damask fabrics or embroidered fabrics, and just like a bit of everything, and you could definitely lose yourself in there. And then they would have like cabinets with all the patterns and binders where you could flip through to see what patterns were available, and then walls full of notions. Hey, Lena! Hello! We may have just been in the dark, but London has the closest fabric stores. And they're giants. Yeah, I mean, definitely. I know how to spin the wool if that helps. I want to try stuff out. I am not a tailor, so I need the cheese. Yeah, the cheaper stuff, but you kind of need the cheaper in price, but not necessarily too far away from your goal, because it's a bit like learning to paint on like terrible paper. Perhaps you're not really helping yourself by learning with that, you know. There's an amazing fabric and craft store called Abacans in Preston, and it's the only thing I miss from there. Massive warehouse full of fabrics and fun stuff. Oh, dude, you said the word warehouse. You're not gonna see me for a few days if I happen upon a warehouse. Can you imagine a warehouse of art supplies? Well, isn't that a bit like Sakaido? But yeah, I mean, dude, is there like a place where you can bring your sleeping bag and spend the night, so you're there the next morning when it opens up, and you just go there, go to the next floor or the next area and just go through it again? We'd have to attach a balloon to you so I can find you. Yeah, pretty much. An air tag, so you can locate me. I can be like that in the grocery store too, if it's not too full of people. Meet you there. There's a really cute fabric shop. I mean, not too far from here, like too far to walk there, and quite possibly substantially too far to go there on a bike. But it's really cute, and it has a lot of pretty, like, cute quilting fabric. And I've seen photos on the of the shop on their website, and I would love to like visit it, but it's a bit inconvenient in a way, because it's always, you know, it's always something when you look like on Google Maps and it tells you, oh, it's a 20-minute car ride. You're like, okay. But if you commute, it's like an hour and a half. You're like, oh, okay. Like, am I really gonna commute for 3 hours to spend like an hour in a shop? That's difficult to parse. Though, I mean, I'm saying that, but Montreal is known for having a whole garment district, they call it. And it's basically one street mainly that is just full of fabric shops, one after the other. Yeah, like that, Ellen. There's a really neat area in Toronto that is all textile stores and wholesalers. I went a couple of times with an old friend. Fascinating place. Yeah. It's just like you get in there and you really feel like you've stepped into a different reality. But yeah, the garment district street thingy is much closer. Like that would be manageable, but the shop is definitely less cute. I mean the shops, because there's a bajillion of them. I'll be right back. Hold on.
Je l'avais remis, fait que c'était juste de l'arrêter.
Okay. On se fasse des bulles dans le salon. Hey, welcome back, Otto. It's in the part of England that hubby refused to believe existed. What? Oh my god, I was the queen of that in Ireland for driving. Anything Google Maps said for time, I added almost double for time, and that was me with everything. Oh no. We have that argument every time one of us has to go to London. It's £80 to get there for us both, and feel like we have to do things while we're there to make it worth it. Yeah. Reality, I get there and I'm ready to come home the second my to-do list is filled. Oh. Oh man, that seems awful. I wouldn't know, I would have no idea, but yeah, my friend is in London, keeps trying to get me to visit her, and like, nah girl, I care about you, but London! Texas, 1 mile equal 1 minute of driving. UK, 1 mile can be up to 45 minutes. Why? Why is it like that? Wales was better, but Ireland was something. Oh, I've started a new medal challenge on Conqueror. It's the South Downs medal, and it finishes literally one street away from. Oh wow! The roads are very bendy. Would it be easier to like go somewhere if like on a bike, for example, just as an example? Is it like the maneuverability that's an issue, or just the fact that everything is super sinewy? Is that the word? Sinewy? Sinuous? Sinewer? Mileage is not a way to determine time here. Everything has a curvy bit and every road has 25 names. They kind of joke about that in Good Omens, don't they? Like there's a joke that Crawley is responsible for a specific highway, I think. And since Crawley is like a demon, he would have purposefully made the highway like terrible. Give him the big 2 fingers salute as you pass by. The roads are also very narrow in rural areas, which is where we were. So you end up going slower in order to, you know, not die. I find that Ireland is quite okay. Usually I'm 5 to 15 minutes earlier than Google states, depending on if I'm behind a tractor or all the people drive. I live in city where it is most of the time faster to go with bike than car to places we have better bike. Yeah, I wish we had that here. That sounds amazing, to be honest. I know that a lot of people are like, meh, 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 bikes, bleh. But, you know, more bikes means less car on the roads, and less car on the roads means that people who absolutely need to get their car can travel more efficiently. It's a balancing act. The M25 is definitely a demonic summoning. I wonder if that's the one they mention in the show. Is that the one they name in the show? I think it's in the first season. Or perhaps it's just that he sets fire to it or something. Anyway. The narrow bending roads take some time to get used to, especially being used to Dutch roads. Wow. Oh yeah, and I mean, the Netherlands is the place, like, is often one of the good examples of urban design. I've spent as much time on the M25 as I have in my home in 19 years. That's a lot. Oh, the M25 turns into a giant wall of fire. Yeah, that's the one, right? Because it's like, it's a circle, so everybody's trapped. The show is so good. I have never longed for the 401 and other 400 series highway before, because as the busiest corridor of traffic in the world, they're terrible. However, at least the 401 is signage, I understand. The movie, I think the book, but it's been a while. Aw, that sucks, Cyan. Aw. You kind of need one of those bike share programs where you can just grab a bike and leave it at the station, and no one can really steal it, you know, because it's locked there and you unlock it with the app on your phone or something. We live on the outside of the ring of fire, but have to take it to go almost anywhere from here. Oh, really? Is it like a big, what's it called? A turnabout? But like on a humongous scale? Is that the name of those a roundabout, turnabout, something about?
Sure.
Hey, Chéro! Salut, Pépette! Oops. Chéro banano. Tisha. How's Shiro today? She seems to be doing good. I went outside earlier to play with her and give her food, and she's been around a couple of times. She's a very busy kitty schedule. You know, when you're a little kitten, you always have a lot of stuff to do. She's incredibly adorable as always. Roundabout. Or I think you're more meaning a ring road. Possibly. Well, I mean, if you take a roundabout and you blow it out really, really big, you know, it's kind of a ring that they mean to connect everything together through exits and whatnot. But I don't know. I mean, it's not like I drive. While we were in the Netherlands, my brain went full panic every time I saw someone grabbing him. Just like yoink. Have you tried to paint your bike in a really confident color? I always had 2 locks on my bike. One of the scooter chains worked well. It's a circular motorway that acts as a bypass. Okay. It's 117 miles around it. Whoa. Oh no. Oh no, Bugs a Pint, oh no. My last bus said it did drive me home after an event and I didn't know which way around I live, so we drove almost the whole thing. Never ask me for directions. Oh, that sounds painful. Oh, bye show. She's been doing that a lot today. She'll come by, stop by our box, ponder, and walk off. Maybe she saw Chaz. Chaz was in the other window earlier. Sometimes they play together. Yeah. So this, I don't know if you can see, but this is a leather thimble and it fits relatively well. The issue with leather is that it stretches out a bit, so it's kind of just a little bit too big, even if it's a small one. But yeah, I feel like I'm gonna go through it really quickly, which is not great. I gotta find a metal one that fits. Is she cold? Well, she doesn't seem to be cold. Like we've seen her sleep in her box at night, and always check to check the temperature of her ears, because sometimes that can be a good indicator of if a cat is cold or not. And her ears are never cold. They're always like a decent temperature. But yeah, that could be a thing. She definitely is active. So maybe that's why. Maybe she went to nap in her box, because yeah, that's a bit more cozy. But a very active kitten. Yesterday she came out of her box and she cracked me up because she looked like the sleepiest creature in the world. She yawned like 3 times in 5 seconds. I was petting her for like a minute and she yawned 3 times and her eyes were closing on their own. And I was like, oh my god, kitten, get some sleep. I'm good at places I know, but I can get lost in 2 streets if I'm... I think all that is good for Google Maps. Yeah, Google Maps is super helpful. I was built with 0 directional sense, especially in city. I'm similar. It takes a lot of mental effort for like to keep track of something. Like I really have to pause and be like, okay, I walked in the side of the building with the pink sign. Okay, here, this one, and it takes like 2 minutes to try to commit to memory, like the path I take. If it's a place if it's a walk I've done more than a few times, I might be able to do it on autopilot. But if I'm just getting someplace new and I'm trying to orient myself, yeah. I have 2 locks too, and I always leave it very inconvenient place, like in the post middle of bush or middle of other bikes, somewhere it is not easy to grab. I have a leather thimble with a metal coin, so the nice feeling of leather. Yeah, I have a 2 from Clover like that, but they don't fit well. Also, like the built-in sense to pay attention to how I got somewhere, like if I'm a passenger. Oh yeah, never mind that, dude. Every couple has one person who is great with direction and one who is terrible at directions. But will the lost one ever just let the navigator navigate? Nope. Are you a navigator or a lost one, Otto? Me too, have very little sense of direction. Yeah, it's not a subconscious thing. Like if you really have to, like consciously, I kind of have to make it like a travel plan or something. Like, okay, you go in that direction on the street until you reach the corner with the supermarket, then you turn left and blah 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 blah. The Wick Life can navigate around Amsterdam months or years between visit and knows exactly where the thing is. Whoa, what? That's a superpower. That's absolutely a superpower. When I was 6, we drove from Ontario to the east coast. Oh, okay. Of Canada in the 80s. My dad eventually grew frustrated with my mom and brother's navigation and in the minimap. I got us there. Okay, so you have a good... At least you can read a map. After visiting my parents once, he remembered the 2-hour drive. Seriously? What? I'm a navigator. Will get you anywhere from anywhere. Good. I'm glad. That's going to be helpful if we ever travel together or anything. I will get lost. For sure. The last travel I did was in a place that was significantly small enough that I could kind of get my bearings easily. And there were enough landmarks that I could like remember things like, okay, there's the big fountain, you go across the big fountain to that specific place, you know. So that's okay, but you definitely have more experiences when you're always lost. You know those wanderlust t-shirt, like not all those who wander are lost or whatever it is. We need one that says something fancy to the spirit of you definitely have more experience when you're always lost. I have a compass in my head most of the time. I usually just know which way is north. Don't ask me why, I've always been that way. That sounds really convenient, honestly. Leave it to me. Absolutely. I mean, I can have Google Map open and still manage to go the wrong way. That's my level of yeah. So I can tell you almost exactly the time or when. Yeah, same. I got that the spider sense. Like when we set a timer for cooking something, I can kind of tell when we're almost due most of the time. Sometimes like, let's say I'm cooking something for 30 minutes, I'll get this feeling like, that thing should be ready soon, and I go check and it's like less than a minute left. But yeah, I'm gonna get lost in places very easily. That doesn't help in many situations other than making. Same, exactly. the cooking tingly sense. I did get turned on in Ireland for about 2 days before it kicked in again, and I was fine. That's really cool. But please don't go. Isn't it this way? Isn't it this way? Like someone. I'll try. I don't know if I do that. I might be confused and be like, oh, I thought it was that way, but it's this way, okay. Like, if I know that someone is better at reading maps, I'm not gonna argue. To be fair to him, I will get lost in underground spaces. It's great, isn't it? Oh, dude. I don't know about underground spaces. I can easily, like, it's a good thing there's signage in the subway stations, let's just say that. My second stupid human trick is I accidentally create a playlist that ends as we are pulling into... Oh, that's a good one though, that's excellent. Now that is a superpower. Like, seriously. Oh my gosh, I'm sorry. I think I'm gonna have to end this because, as you can probably tell, my voice is getting a bit shot. I'm not used to talking, and yeah, 2 hours of talking is just about what I can do. I'm gonna keep working on this and hopefully finish that small piece. This is the other. This goes this way, and this is the other piece that I'll have to attach to it, and it goes like this here, quick, and then I still have to attach like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, 5 rows to this part, and then I'll attach the 2 pieces together, and that's gonna be the size of it. I feel that I'm most of the time lost in time and space. Oh no. I'm gonna try to get into the Discord again. It's been a while. Yeah, that would be really fun. Love to see you in there. And yeah, I mean, if you have kitty pics, that's a big plus too. Just Lehman said on the phone. Aw, good boy. It's time for a big mug of hot chocolate. Oh, that sounds great. Should I pick up Emmy sleep standing on her? Oh, I'm eager to check that out. Alright guys, well, thank you so much for being here today. It's been really great. And I'm glad you guys don't mind the sewing streams, because yeah, they've been a nice change of pace from like struggling at doing art all the time. So I can take a break on art, and I feel like it helps me refresh a bit my my art level. And yeah, so anyway, hopefully I'll be able to do another hobby sewing stream next week. And until then, there's the Discord, and I'll try to get videos done this week, even if it's always difficult. But yeah, thank you so much for being here. Have a great weekend, have a great week, and see you all next time. Bye bye.